ball in a T stance, root down, store that energy, bring the elbows in, L stance, bow the legs, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist step, root down, center with the ball, out into the side, L stance, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, T stance, ward off. Give me that space. Turn your hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. Turn the hips and waist to look back. Turn again to push forward. Sit down, sit back. Spiral forward. Twist step. T stance. Ward off. Turn hips and waist. Hands go for the ride as you grasp the bird's tail. Turn, push. Separate, roll back, sit down, spiral forward. Twist step, T stance, L stance, bow stance. Hands go for the ride. Use your hips and waist. Use it again. Sit back, sit down, push the guy down. Push him forward. Twist. Listen carefully. Part the wild horse's mane. Cloud hands. Use your hips and waist. Get out to the 9, to the 12. Use the hips and waist. Leave the hands there. In the 24, cloud hands. Last rotation. T stance, hook, step out L, turn the wrist, single whip. Half step, sit back, high pad on the horse. Cross, step out, left heel, gather the energy, center the energy, right foot, right hand up, kick out right. In, drop gently on your heel on an L stance, look through your double punch. Sit back, sit down, pivot all the way around, left hand, left foot, up and out and in. Got that position of your toe that I asked you to do. Come down as a serpent, pivot out to the left, set it up, swing up, golden car crawl, toe, spin, hook, split, sit down. Pivot to the right, up, swivel, heel, ball, heel, turn the ball, maiden on her right. Sit back, twist out, ball, heel left, spin, maiden on her left. Half step, okay? So this is what we're gonna cover today, after we kind of warm up all the previous movements. Not to say that we are totally accomplished in any of the movements, but to give you some variation, but at the same time provide you some reinforcement of the principles that we are putting as priority, okay? All right, so now coming forward now with a little bit more detail, starting with the clock wall, okay? Try to listen and try to follow as best you can, dropping those shoulders, tucking your butt, hollowing out your chest, 50-50. Shift weight to the right, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 off the ground, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, we're in balance. Rotate your hands, take a deep breath in as you draw up that water at shoulder level. Flex the knees, drop the shoulders, exhale. Rooted on the right or back foot, form your ball. T stance. Out and to the side, L stance, split the ball, bow stance. Part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, zigzag out, center with the ball, step out on a straightaway or an L stance, part the wild horse's mane 2. Use your hips and waist, Sit back, sit down. Pivot out on a zigzag, hold your ball for better balance. Out on a straightaway, move that ball, part the wild horse's mane. Use your hips and waist to bring you to the forward position. Half step forward, put your right foot on its toes as you farm your ball. Sit back on your back foot as you spin the ball to the left. Drop the right hand, follow it up while your left foot is on its toe. Lift off the ground, set it up correctly. White crane spreads its wings. When you drop your front foot, you're going to tuck that elbow in. How are you going to do it? Tuck the elbow in, drop the front foot, tuck the elbow in, as if you're bisecting your body to your danten. Swirl back, use your hips and waist. Right hand higher, all together. Ear, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist. Hands go for the ride. Brush knee one. Sit back, sit down. Zigzag out. Set it up correctly. Ear, heel, hand. Turn the hips and waist. Brush knee two. Sit back. Twist step. Set it up correctly, all together, and let that energy flow. Hands go for the ride. After 3 brush knees, you take a half step on your toe of the back. Sit back as you rock your front foot, and you set your hands up to put it on its heel to play the lute. Okay, and then we go over how to play the lute. The left hand is towards your center, and the right hand is bending towards your left elbow, not in a parallel position. This position, if you're sitting down really well, perhaps you want to say, let's move on because your right foot is probably aching. You leave your stance and you open from the top, and the left hand remains there, right hand is higher as you glance. At the same time, the front hand starts to open towards the ceiling. The palm is facing up towards the ceiling. We're going to do many things, at least 3 things. The hand is going to come to your ear, the foot is going to be lifted up, and we're going to spin on our axle to put that front foot on its toe. Okay? You don't have to take a high lift, neither do you have to take a long span. Okay? But in the end, we can work it out. Okay? So you're good upright, weight on the back, all together. Lift, ear, toe, heel. You're in a zigzag position. What are you going to do? The front foot, you're going to swivel on the ball of your foot as you meet the hands in the middle, then draw back. Okay? Pull back, push forward. We have 4 times to do it. 3 more times. Left hand higher, right hand centering you, weight on the back. Lead with the toe so that you're now on the toe of your front foot, but not weighted. Semi-weighted, but your weight is mostly on the back because you're going to do 3 things together. Toe, lift, ear, swivel on that axle, bring it back, heel in that awkward position, swivel or pivot on the ball of your foot as you meet in the center and draw back. Repulse monkey 2. Lead with your toe of your front, weight on the back. Lift off the ground as it comes to the ear, to the toe, awkward position, swivel on the ball of your front foot, draw back, repulse 3. Weight on the back, all together, ear, toe, heel, pivot, draw back. Hold your ball on a T stance. We're going to ward off. Out and to the side. Bottom hand advances to say, give me that space I need. You're paused and you turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands, drag down the opponent as if to grasp the bird's tail. Use your hips and waist to look back, contact, turn at the hips and waist, push from the middle of your body, energy out, sit down, roll back, spiral up, then forward, other side. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Hold your ball on a T stance. Step out. Give me my space. Turn my hips and waist, reposition my hands, to grasp and bring down the bird's tail. Turn at the hips and waist, center, push the energy through, separate the hands and roll back and push them down, then push them up and out. Twist step, cup, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, hook at 3, T out, L. Okay, let's do it this way now, okay? So we're going to learn to do single whip. So we said that we were grasping the bird's tail this way. Let's start with warding off rather. Okay, warding off, grasp the bird's tail. T stance, out and to the side, give me my space. Pause, turn the hips and waist, reposition the hands, sit down, sit back, turn the hips and waist to look back. Contact, turn at the hips and waist, push the energy through the middle of your body. Separate the hands and roll back and sit down. Spiral up, lunge forward. Actually, this is the last grasping of the bird's tail. Now we're going into single whip. Sit back, sit down, pivot, 12 o'clock, cup, 9 o'clock. Okay, 9 o'clock. Come back to the 12 by using your hips and waist. Shift your weight to the right, hook the hand at 3, come across the left hand off around your, past your face and push out with your palm. Okay. Sit back, sit down, pivot, cloud hands, okay? All right, so now, okay, so we're in the stance, right foot forward, ending of the last grasping of the bird's tail. Here's a drill, sit back, sit down, pivot, 12 o'clock cup, use your hips and waist, 9, 12 o'clock cup, your weight is on the right, T stance, hook, left hand comes across the face, turn the wrists out, at the same time you put your heel down, okay? Okay, one more time. Let's actually do it, no we can't, because you can't see me. Okay, right foot forward, push out. Sit back, sit down, pivot, stem and cup at 12, turn the hips and waist to 9, like you're doing a cloud hand, so the right hand is now higher, 12 o'clock, stem and cup. You want your weight fully on your back or right foot, you're gonna hook at 3 and create a T-step. The left hand sweeps across the face, step out, turn the wrist, push out, single whip. Sit back, sit down, twist step, cloud hands. Okay, this time we're going to start again and then we're going to go through cloud hands, okay? And everybody catching on? Okay, make sure that your L stance now is giving you clearance to turn your hips and waist at, turn your knees, okay? Get clearance for your knees. Right foot forward, push out. Shoulders dropped, sit back, sit down, twist, cup. Turn the hips and waist, 9. Turn the hips and waist, 12. At 3 o'clock, hook, fingers around the thumb, shift your weight to a T. Left hand, palms to your face. Turn the wrist out as your heel comes out. Push out, single whip. Sit back, sit down, pivot, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Weight on the left, 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock, stem cup. 3 o'clock, flip hands open. Second rotation, use your hips and waist, leave the hands there. Last rotation starts now. Right hand goes out to the 3 o'clock as you form a T. Left hand towards across your face, out L, second single whip. Okay, let's take second single whip coming forward now, okay? Left foot on a line, right foot on the opposite line. Drag the right foot one back, 45 degree, and do this till you can tell yourself you have enough of a comfort and yet of the splitting of your feet, okay? And this is single whip. So the left hand does not go beyond your toes, because once it goes beyond the toe, most likely your knee has to go beyond the toe, and you know that the toes and the knee have to line up. The back foot or the right foot is now at a 45 degree, and your hooked hand is not way in the back there, but not across, but slightly in the back of that, okay? And you notice that my hand, my elbow is not extended, but there is a crux in it. There's a relaxation, okay? That's the style. This is single whip. Check your feet, check your hands, check your vertical danten points. Then we can begin. Half step forward. Sit back. When you sit back, weight goes in the back, therefore the weight of the front has to be on its toe, and you can sit down like this as if you're giving more weight to the back foot, but do it naturally. Then you're going to lift up the front, and you're going to go up the horse's mane, while the left hand sits at your hip. You're going to cross or jab the guy with your left hand. You're going to veer to the left with your heel, gather the energy, center the energy, come up with that right foot, right hand on the outside, kick out right, in, drop gently on your heel on an L stance, and look through your double punch. Okay, so you're actually punching the guy's ears, so you don't want to punch here because his face is much smaller. Then, rather than punch like this, just dip your wrist towards his ears. Okay, let's do that again. Single whip. How do we do single whip now? Oh, how did I get you? Single whip. 2 feet on 2 different lines, 45 the right, single whip. Okay, best gravitational position. Someone were to come next to you, your neighbor right there can push you, you could still keep your stance, okay? Single whip. Half step. Sit back. Weight on the back, therefore weightless on the front onto the toe. Lift off the weightless foot as you pat your horse. High pat on the horse. Cross. Step out, palms down, left heel, semicircle, gather energy, center energy, right foot coming up, kick out right, in, L stance, heel down, and you tuck the elbows, bring them across or over, tuck the wrists together, okay? This is called double punch. Sit back, sit down. The only foot that you can turn is the right or weightless foot. This time, left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, kick out, left. Then the hook, and then the toe, right? Then you're going to turn this way, turn forward. This is your hook. So the hook sits sort of to the side rather than side of your vision rather than up high or directly in front of you, slightly to the side, about, I don't know, without raising your shoulder. So we'll say without raising your shoulder. So raise your shoulder and you say that's not what you want. You drop your shoulder and there it is. Okay, so I'll turn this way. So we had just done our kick out left, came here. This is where I want that hook. The four fingers around your toe, around your thumb. At a glance, you can look at it so that you don't have to tip your head. We said that for homework last week, we were supposed to find that where that toe was. So to make it plain, for those of you who are maybe confused, if you can put your right heel on a cross section of a tile, on a parallel or on the line, create your hook. The toe of your left foot should come out on that line, or slightly below that line, rather than above the line or way in the back. So we're looking from, do what I'm doing, firm down on your right, here's your toe, drag it out. Okay, one more time, firm down, drag it out. Okay, so you see that this is my span that I'm comfortable with. Maybe others want to go out further, but once you start to go to the extreme, you cannot sit down safely on the planted foot. So we're going to prove to ourselves that if we have to sit down on this right foot, and we know that the insubstantial has to come straight out, if we take that foot further out, what happens? This guy is no longer standing straight. It's kind of moving towards the left, right? So you want to create that position or that span that is comfortable and yet wide enough to allow the knee to then spin this way. So if you have already established where that toed foot should be, great. Then the next thing that we're going to have to do is sit down, post down. As you post down, you're going to have to turn to come out this way towards your left. Okay, so say it again. When we do serpent, you're going to post yourself down, but you found that area where your toe should be of your left insubstantial foot. You're going to post down, at the same time turn, flatten down, and pivot out to the left to come up as a golden cockerel. Okay, let's put some hands together, okay, so then we can get the full-on movement. Right foot on a cross section. We had just kicked out left, okay? Kicked out left, bring it in, find that position, set up the hands, drop down, spin out to the left, arm stretched out, hooked hand turned up, shift weight like a pendulum, up, golden cockerel. Okay? The toe comes down, and then we spin yet another time. And when that toe comes down and spin yet another time, the same configuration of where that toe comes down needs to be matched on the first serpent. Okay? So that's a lot of words, but what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to practice, of course. You're going to have to test it out, and you have to try to remember what I'm asking and what the keywords are. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, right foot on a cross section, toe there. Okay, so to get there now, we would have had to kick out left, right? Kick out left. Everybody kick out left. Then bring it in and then come down, hook, and you're here, right? We want to come down, sit down, and we want to as we sit down, this weightless foot now has some weight. We want to spin out towards the left. And the right hooked hand now hooks up, okay? And it's pretty much extended. You don't want to sit it too close to your back. You want to keep it suspended because we need that momentum to swing up, okay? So hook hand, and the left hand is not way to the left, but kind of in line with the left foot, which is in the left direction. With this motion now, we're going to come up, shift our weight, spin on an axle, and come up as a golden cockerel. After golden cockerel, we have to yet put down our right toe, spin around, and create another hook, and do another serpent. But before we split now, we have to make sure that that toe that comes down is in that same line of the heel of the planted foot. And same situation with the hand, split out, sit down, halfway, then start to veer to the right. This foot now gets to turn this way on a 45. The hand is suspended like this. because we need this motion. If the hand is like this, we don't get as much of a swing. So the hand this time could have a little bit of an extension, but not locked in, okay? Because remember we said that the elbows or the joints cannot be taut and locked. So yes, it's this way, but there is some flex there, okay? So you're like this, and then you're gonna shift your weight, come up, swivel on the axle, and come up this way, okay? Then down here, okay? So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna use the material or the talent that is in our class. And I just thought of it this morning. So I have my way of teaching it, my way of performing or doing Serpent in the Grass, and everybody else has something different. Not necessarily my students, but yes, but people who are accomplished. Ken for one, Rick for another, all those people that you see online and performing. So I said, what a better way to show my students that each of us are on our own journey. And we can still be on yet a fourth journey, which, yes, you should be on your own journey. Everybody should have a unique journey. But with the understanding that there has to be a start, then there's a progress over time. But I think each of us has something that they do that promotes their form or their style or how they interpret any of the motions. But Serpent in the Grass being the most difficult, you know, and given our abilities, our experience and newness in the journey, that all is factored in. So what I want you to do is take Serpent in the Grass home, work on it until you feel comfortable or confused or aching, whatever it takes to get that down, and watch, because that will help you to then benefit from the presentation that we'll have next Thursday, where I will come and warm you up. Ken will come on and give his version, okay? You can ask him questions, and then we'll end with Rick, who will show you how he does it, which is the way I would like to do it, but I have limitations, and you know, so I say, yeah, we accept what you can do, and then we can build on it, okay? Agree?